Hey everyone, just a few delays with some technical issues, but we're getting there, I think. Perfect. So how are you? Just write in the chat box and let's get going. What a great day it is. Let me get rid of all of this. And let's disconnect the chat from the things so I can read it better. And today we're going to talk about full emotional alignment, the 7 steps to full emotional alignment, and how we can align our emotions, thoughts and feelings with our true end result and our desired reality. Because after all, that's what we want, isn't it? And when we understand our structure and how important it is to be in the right structure and how much impact our characters have, our part personalities, our aspects, emotions, beliefs and stories play in our lives, then we can handle all sorts of different structures and we can decide what structure is going to suit us the best, what's okay, what needs changing, how can we adjust the structures that we're in to best suit our desired end result, our desired reality, where we're going. And if you consider this as a premise, a working premise, and look at your own life, you can see how the patterns of trying to resolve unresolved relationships, traumas, beliefs, emotions from childhood continually play out, and we're continually trying to resolve them. And we do this with ourselves, and we find other individuals to play the characters to reinforce those beautiful stories in our structures. So we create and we reflect and we adjust and we put out the energy that we want to, that comes back to us. And once you become aware of those things, then everything starts to change. You're still going to be you, but you can change. Underneath, the basics are still there. You're never going to get rid of them. All that's going to happen is that you recognize when you fall into those old beliefs and patterns that what you're doing. It's crazy, isn't it? And when we understand our structure and how much impact it has, we can step into full emotional alignment with our desired reality and with all aspects of our parts. They all become in alignment with where we want to go. And so I'm sure that, you know, someone who keeps on finding relationships where the other person cheats, or there's psychological control, or there's physical violence, or there's things that are happening, and they keep finding that type of person. They keep acting out. And each time they say that they're never going to do it, I'm not going to fall for that sort of person again, they still do it. And they always say, yeah, but you know, oh, I love it. He loves me, and he's really kind to me, and he always apologizes when he does it. But the damage is done, isn't it? And it doesn't matter what they say, you know, whether they say, you know, oh, you know, all this stuff that this person really, really does love them and likes them. But the way they're treated reinforces that they're inferior, they're incapable, they're broken. And so they might leave that relationship and look for someone else, but they still have that energy in them and they're still attracted to it. whether it's in relationship, whether it's in business, whether it's at work. Someone's always taking the part to reinforce that structure. So they keep recreating it. And they keep saying, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Well, that's how you keep attracting it. But when you actually reverse engineer it, and reverse engineer what's going on every single time it starts off and goes exactly the same way. They saw and they knew things about that person, and then they ignore them. And then they keep going. In fact, when the warning bells went off, they ignored them. And when they truly realised they picked that person again, then they can see the whole structure play out. And it's amazing. Once you see it, everything starts to change. So I want you to examine yourself a little bit and what's creating in your life. And if there's stuff that's repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating, because we want to shift out of that. And you have to realise it's not you, it's an unconscious structure that you're just trying to work out. And so think about these things. You're in repeating relationships where the other person or people cheat or have psychological control or physical violence or abuse. You're always feeling like you're a victim and you don't understand the patterns you're creating. You feel like they make different choices, but the results always seem to be the same. And when you see that pattern emerging, if you reverse engineer it, you find the similarities. And just recognizing the pattern and where it originated from, which is usually in childhood, then you know you can catch yourself before repeating that pattern. And realizing that's really an unconscious structure that you're really trying to work out to have new outcomes and successful relationships and be in full emotional alignment with what your heart desires, your desired reality. And so I want you to think about these. And I'll just go through the list for you. And the first one is, I am unworthy. And so if I'm unworthy, I deny my own needs and only feel valid by helping other people or others. I'm not good enough. So I need to achieve that external success to be validated, to be loved. I don't belong or I'm not accepted. So I must become accepted and never rejected. So I'm always searching for love. Hang on. And so let's just copy this link. And so the next one is, I'm not safe. So the world's not safe, so I must retreat to my mind and understand it before I get hurt. And so what we're talking about is becoming in full emotional alignment with where we want to be and looking for all the different programs and structures that we're stuck in, that we're born in, that we keep shifting and changing out of, until we find the right structure to be ourselves. Oh, I've lost, someone's dropped out. I'll probably be back. Cool. So just to go through them again, I'm unworthy, so I deny my own needs and only feel validated by helping others. I'm not good enough, so I need to achieve external success to be valid, to be loved. I don't belong and I'm not accepted, so I must become accepted and never rejected because I'm always searching for love. I'm not safe, the world's not safe, so I have to retreat to my mind and understand it all before I get hurt. So I have to analyse everything. I'm not able to handle negative emotions, so I'll avoid them at all costs. And the world's not perfect. And there has to be a way to be perfect. And achieving this is more important than anything else in life. The next one, I don't have permission, so I need an authority to tell me what to do. And next one is I'm not able to handle conflict, so I won't have any goals. And the last one is I'm powerless and must have control and power to be successful. So when we understand those structures and how much they impact the characters and part personalities, emotion, beliefs, stories, etc., that we have and how they play in our lives, we can then decide if that structure is okay or if it needs changing. And when we keep repeating those relationships with those patterns in them, then we can see how it rolls out in our world and in our life, and how even though we try to be different, we're actually staying in that same pattern. So when we recognize it and realize that it originated either in childhood, it's a bloodline issue, whatever, we can catch ourselves out and we don't have to keep repeating that pattern. So what things do we need to start thinking about? What things do we want to ask ourselves? And we sort of want to know when we realize, what structure am I in? What patterns do I keep repeating and how do I recognize them? And then what's the actual steps to follow to achieve change? So if I want a different outcome, I need to get a different structure. I need to get one that gives me the capability, the skills and knowledge sets, as well as the daily practices and habits that I can catch these entry points. Because when I catch myself at the entry points, I can take a breath, stop and order where I'm going, moving back into emotional alignment with my desired reality. And we still obviously are always going to go into those steps. Parts of change that happen to us. So if we look at the logical levels of change that we have, and I left my red one behind. So we always start off with our environment. So what's our physical environment like? What's our physical surroundings? Are we living in the jungle, or are we living in a nice house, or where are we living? What's it look like? Not sure whether you can see that. Oh, I just got to move my board. And then we start to look at behaviour. What's our daily habits and practices that we're doing? Are we stuck? Are we stuck in a time warp? Do we just keep repeating the same thing every day? Is the habits that we've created the things that are holding us back? And how do we change those? And then think about our capability. What are we capable of? What things, what skills, what knowledge, what tool sets do we have that we can take ourselves out of this behaviour and step up into a different type of behaviour that supports us better? And then we want to think about our beliefs. What do we believe? What do we believe about the world? What do we believe about others? And how does that impact on our capability, our behaviour, and our environment? How do they all fit together? Do they fit together? Do they change my identity? And how I feel about myself? See? I don't think this is any better. So how does that impact my identity? Because my identity is, what I believe about me. And then we've got ecology. And this is like family beliefs. Family systems, society as well. And so this creates the pyramid in which we live in. This is all our tools. This is world and others. This is self. So you can either start at the top and look at, well, what's the family beliefs and what's the family stories and systems and society, which affects my identity, which then creates my beliefs about the world and others, which then looks at the capabilities that I have, the behaviours that I do, and where I'm living. Or you can start at the bottom and look at, okay, my physical environment and my surroundings affect how I can operate every day, what my habits are. And then I look at, well, what am I capable of? What tools do I have? What do I believe about the world and others, which affects how I believe about myself, which then changes how I believe about life, the world. And so I want you to think about your true choice and your desired reality. And where am I now in relationship to where I want to be? So when you think about it, and I don't know that this is going to rub off, this is your current reality. Current reality. And this is your desired reality. Which part are you stuck in? Which part are you stuck in? So I want you to think about where you are now in relationship to you want to be, where you want to be. So this is A and this is B. Looking at the pyramid, where are you in relationship to all of those things? And then just closing your eyes for a moment, and I want you to look at alternatives on a movie screen. So if you step into the end result of having it in your mind, as soon as you do this, you want to teach your unconscious that this is a place that's going to be safe and happy. So you've really got to tune into that end result And the one thing to do about this is picture yourself and everyone that would be benefited by this end result. See them as being really happy. You know, it's very, very important. So don't limit yourself. And just look at the end result and stepping into those feelings, and just imagine a successful completion of that end result. And just choose it with your eyes closed. Just choose the end result of whatever it is that you're choosing. And notice what comes to mind when you first choose it. I choose the end result of it, and it feels like. How does it feel? In your mind, step yourself into the moment when you already have this completed. Feels so good. And I want you to ask yourself, what environment am I in? Who am I surrounded by with just keeping your eyes closed? And stated when I had this as an end result. What environment am I in? Who am I surrounded by? Who am I with? Where do I live? Where do I work from every day? And where do I play from every day? Where do I exist every day? Where do I sleep? Where do I live? What's my environment like? What types of people are around me? And just notice it's around. Just notice what's around you. What are you surrounded by? People, things, home structures. What's around you? Online, offline. I choose the end result. And it feels absolutely amazing. And just notice what you're surrounded with. And so let's step up into behavior. Just tune in. I choose the end result of, and it feels like. Just choosing that end result and what it feels like, what it looks like. And what are your actions that you take every day? What's your perfect average day as you're in this responding to now that you have this end result? You're in this end result. What are you doing? What's your day like? What are your actions that you take? How is it you see yourself doing that end result? See yourself being the end result. And just taking the actions in the end result. And it feels so good. I love it. I love it. And how does it feel to be doing the end result? Notice the actions that you take, what you do every day. What do you do on a weekly basis? What do you do in a month? How does it look? How does it feel to be doing it? I choose the end result of, and it feels, wow, as I step back into that end result. What skills or capabilities do I have in this end result? What am I able to do? What are you able to do? What skills have you learned? Have you learned how to build a team to delegate? Have you learned how to do a video? Have you learned how to write or knit or sew or cook? Have you learned? What else have you learned? Have you learned to be a movie producer? Have you learned to be a director? Have you learned to be the great screenwriter? Have you learned to have this amazing business bringing new technology to the world? Have you learned how just to be you and how amazing that feels? So what skills or capabilities have you learned? Have you learned emotional intelligence? Have you learned mindfulness? Have you learned a new language? Have you learned to fly a plane? When you've learned to do this in this game to resolve, what are all the skills that you have now And I just want you to tune into your end result and choose that end result, what it feels like to have all these amazing new skills and capabilities. And just notice what they are and notice the things that you can do as a result of being. Oh, you're doing great. And just with your eyes closed, just notice all the things that you can do, the skills, the capabilities, and just feel so good about it. And now choose the end result, choose it again. And it feels like, wow, now that you choose it and feel it, just choose that end result again. And it feels like, what do you believe? What do I believe? What do I believe about the world now? What are my beliefs? I choose the end result and it feels like this. Feels like, and I believe what I believe the world is. I believe people are. Just notice what you believe, what you do believe about things in this end result. What do you believe? I believe money is easy. I believe love is easy. I believe being my ideal weight is easy. I believe doing a marathon is easy. I believe exercising is easy. Whatever it is. What do you believe? What do I believe about others? What do I believe other people are? What do I believe? And in the same result, I choose the end result of experience. And look at the results and ask yourself, what do I believe about others? What do I do believe about the world? And what do you believe by choosing that end result? Just choosing it, feeling it. What do you believe about yourself? I choose the end result of, and I believe about me that I am. I am what I am. I believe. That's it. Just believe. And now in your mind, I just want you to rise above this and the best you can. You can rise above it, rise up, so you become super conscious and you know kind of everything. You become everything and leave that point behind and rise above and just kind of rise up and up and up and up, so you can kind of see looking down. Just imagine you're looking down, so you've risen right above to kind of the point of that pyramid that I drew on the board. Just rise above, and on one side of that pyramid, see the old view. And then on the other side, see this new you, this new view. And as you look at both of them, I just want you to imagine that they're both there. So there's two distinct sides to use, and you can actually imagine it for a minute, is that you that's territorially to one side is this you that has this end result, and on the other is the current you. And imagine that you're standing outside of a cinema or a movie theatre, and just like in that movie cinema or theatre, you've got two tickets. You've got two tickets, and you've got two tickets to either one. And they're both playing to either show. And from your superconscious awareness, you've got the choice to go and watch the show of your current reality and how it is. And you kind of feel like you've seen that one enough. You don't have to repeat that. And just using your superconscious, feel like you choose the one you'd like to experience more of. You'd like to view more of this new end result, this new you, this new identity. And just superconscious, choose the one that you'd like to experience more of, and when you're ready, choosing it. Just choosing it. and experience more of it with your eyes shut. How, when you're ready, I want you to just come back, open your eyes and write down some notes of what you got. What did you see? What did you get that was really good? And I'll just give you a couple of moments to write it down. Feels good, that end result. Feels so good to be in it. And when you've written that down, let's start to build it and try this model out. So what did you do? What did you get? What did you see? What did you feel? What surrounded you in this new identity, this new environment, this new life that you surrounded you? What's the environment like? And just start writing it out. And let's start writing so that you can bring it into now. So it can be a real creation, because, you know, all creation starts in the mind and then we manifest it. So if you were to know, write it down, this creation. That movie you just watched, you know, what was that person's environment? Who were they surrounded with? Just write it down, make some notes, make it up. Who are they surrounded with? Even if you don't know who it is, you can put like-minded people, surrounded by like-minded people. We're having fun. There's so much joy and happiness. We work together as a team. We supported one another. We respected each other's values, all those sorts of things. Who are the people that surround us? Where are you living? You don't have to exactly state the country, the town, the street or anything. Where are you living? You're living close to the ocean, or you're living in the forest, or you're living in a community of like-minded people on land. And where do you work? Are you working, or are you retired, or are you living off your passive income? So what's around you? And just take notes on the environment, what it looks like. Is there lots of light and sun? Or are you living somewhere where it's cool and shady? Can you hear the ocean? Can you see the water? Can you just see beautiful forests? Can you smell that ozone in the air? What do you see, hear and feel and sense and smell? And where do you feel it in your body? And what was it like? Was it awesome? Is it awesome to be surrounded by all those amazing people? And you become like the people you're surrounded with because it's an unconscious suggestion. How does all that feel? And when you've written it all down, let's take all that information and let's talk to our superconscious. And excuse the snoring of my little dog. And let's look at the resistances. Let's look at the resistance. So if you imagine on the left is the new you, and on the right is the old you with your old beliefs about everything. What's it feel like? What does the resistance feel? What are my beliefs? If someone turned up and said, here you are, you're about to have it all, what would you have to lose? What friends would you lose? What would you not be able to take with you? What beliefs that you've been holding on to so much would you have to let go of? So how much do you need to let go of to get there? You know, if you're able to grade yourself, are you 50-50? How close are you to being that? Does it feel like it's just a little step, or does it feel a long, long way away? To become the real you, this desired reality, this new choice, what's really there? So only you will know. Only you knows how much resistance you have to hang on to it, to keep it, if you had it given to you tomorrow. But the truth is, if you're not ready to have it all tomorrow, then you've got some beliefs that say you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to have it. And there's some limits or some factors there, and that's okay. It's totally okay, because we're on a beautiful journey of creation. So we're just going to choose it. We're going to choose what we're going to choose. We're going to choose to be this, and then we're going to recode everything that we can. We're going to recode what we can recode. We can recode is we can recode it, the identity, the beliefs, the consciousness. And what we can't recode is, if you don't have the skills, you're not suddenly going to have the skills that you haven't mastered yet. Does that make sense? So even if we recode everything, if you don't have the skills, you're still going to have to master those skills and learn those skills. Because we can't suddenly, from nowhere, if we don't know how to walk, be walking. When we're a child, we don't know how to walk. We learn to walk. And that's a skill we master because we do it unconsciously now. So if there's certain things that you need to master in order to achieve that end result, that desired reality, you still have to learn them. So even though we have a magic wand, we're still going to have to learn some things. And it's okay to say you want to be a billionaire, but if you've never had more than $20,000, well, you can be consciousness, and consciousness and your identity can be there. But if you don't have the skills to manage and grow and create money and build teams, then unfortunately you don't have the capability yet to be that. And this is true. And it's like you've just been given the money, and how many of you know people, or hear of people who win lotto and they lose it within a couple of years? Because you've given this whole lot of money, but you don't have the skills of what to do with that money. And you've been given all that money, but you don't know what to do with it. And then, you know, people either get taken advantage of or they spend it, and it's a sad story, because think of athletes. And now here in Australia, they actually do financial planning with the athletes and teach them about looking after all the money that they've earning. Because you might be an amazing athlete, but you may have no skills in life or finance or anything. And so they're teaching people. They teach people now. And, so some people have innately some skills and knowledge, but most people don't. So let's start to think about that and think about, okay, well, we really need to take correct action. We really need to have the right capabilities. We really need to have the right skill set to be where we want to be. You can have the perfect identity, but if you don't take the right action, you're actually not being it yet. And you can actually surround yourself with the right people in the right places, because that's one of the strongest suggestions to our creative brain. The animalistic part of ourselves that says, I must be safe in my tribe. And then it becomes very strange if you're someone that you're really grateful for in my tribe, but if you've got two businesses and you've got business mentors, then you're going to be able to get the right sort of action steps and mentoring, aren't you? And if you go out with those people and if you become friends with those people, you may not be there yet, but you're in the right environment to get your brain creating, and then for new ideas and concepts and understandings and feelings to be created. And so then you've got this amazing support base, and you're able to identify with what it feels like to be in that company, what it feels like and how it feels. So how much resistance out of 10 do you have to being that right now? How much resistance out of 10, with 10 out of 10 being 100% resistance, to 0 out of 10 having no resistance at all? And 10 out of 10 feels a bit like walking through peanut butter or honey and you're stuck. But we have to choose, and we have to have somewhere to start on our journey of full emotional alignment, because we've created this new pyramid of who we are, our new identity, but we've still got all our old stuff that's still there, that keeps us out of alignment with where we want to go. And I don't think my little, because we want our end result to be our current reality so that we can step into the new end result. So we're always creating the next step. What's next for us? What next am I going to achieve? So if you've got your resistance number, just write it down. Just write down what your resistance number is, and let's do a recode. Let's go ahead and close our eyes and realizing that our unconscious mind is there to keep us safe. It's there to keep us safe. And all the feelings, emotions, beliefs, and stories that we've created are there to remind us to keep us safe. But they're just old stories. They're not new stories. And because they're old stories, we think that they're the truth. But every time we rethink those stories, there's a slightly different version. It's like when people smoke a cigarette, every time they light it up, it's for a different reason. The original reason why they smoke or started smoking might have been a dare, might have been dad did it or mum did it, so I'm going to sneak around and do it, or the other kids are doing it, so I'll have to do it if I want to belong. And that goes back to all these structures that we talked about. I'm not good enough. You know, I've got to do all these things to belong. I won't have any friends. No one will love me. No one will like me. Oh, it's a hard one. But we can shift and change it. And that's what we're here for. So just getting that beautiful new end result, that choice. And I want you to really step back into it. How does it feel? What does it look like? Just creating the feelings, feeling them, visualizing them like on a movie screen. Just bring that movie screen back with how you look, with how you feel. And think about, what are my surroundings like in this new end result, in this choice? What's my behavior? What are my daily habits? What am I doing every day? Am I jumping out of bed, feeling excited, ready for the day? Having had a good night's sleep, feeling calm and relaxed? Eating a healthy breakfast? Just loving life. What skill sets have I developed? What capabilities have I? What do I believe about the world now and others? What do I believe about myself? How far I've come? How amazing I am? All the different things that have changed for me. How am I interacting with the world? Am I coming from a heart-based place, or where am I coming from? Or am I still living in my head? Have I disassociated? Have I shifted out of those old identities into my new identity? What are my beliefs? What's the ecology about family structures, society? Where am I with all of that? And just stay with that. And just realize how amazing you are. And just think, wow, I am worthy. I'm good enough. I belong. I'm safe in the world. I can handle life. I live optimal life. I have permission from myself to know what to do and do it. And I can handle conflict. And I'm powerful. I am a powerful creator of my own life. And just feel all of those things and step into them. Just have it on that movie screen and just go with it. Feels friggin' amazing, doesn't it? And just be it. And superconscious, are you there? I'm just giving me permission to command your superconscious. That's it. Superconscious, are you there? Superconscious, can you see this amazing choice and all that entails? Can you please place that in a beautiful bubble of love, light, and life, and fill it with the highest light and resonance that I can tolerate at this time? And place it in my heart. And just breathing in that beautiful golden energy, that love, light, and life. Just imagine it coming down through the great central sun, the portal of our sun, down through the atmosphere, down into your crown chakra, your third eye, your throat, clearing, cleansing as it goes, allowing the energy to flow and anchoring into your heart. That's it. And as you're breathing in 360 degrees of love, light, and life, filling up your whole field with that energy, you're just breathing out all the unwanted thought forms, beliefs, and stories that no longer serve you. We want to anchor that energy through you. So let's bring in the beautiful diamond and crystalline energies of Gaia up through the soles of your feet, up through your legs, up through your base chakra, sacral, solar plexus, and joining in your heart with that beautiful river of love, light, and life. And imagine it in your heart is a beautiful rosebud. And at the core of that rosebud is being the powerful creator, the predominant creative force in your life. And each petal of that rosebud holds a choice. And there's millions of choices. And they're all there waiting to be released. And that choice that we're working on today is the one choice that you made for this exercise. And that choice is sitting in your heart, filled with the highest light and resonance that you can tolerate. In Superconscious, you could see this choice as I fill it with love, light, and life, as I ground it into the core of the earth, as it's nourished, supported. That's it. Through the great central sun energy. Love it. In Superconscious, I want you to call in all the resistances, all the stories, the subpersonalities, the aspects, and everything else that's ready to be released as I step into this new identity, this new choice, this new way of being, to be in full emotional alignment with where I'm going, what I'm doing, and understanding and recognizing when I slip into any of those old parts and aspects, any bloodline programming, societal programming. As I step into that, let's recognize it and take a breath to release it as we step back into our end result. That's it. In Superconscious, can you see all those beautiful resistances as we acknowledge them, love them, and thank them for all that they've done to support us, to keep us stuck in an old framework, an old program that no longer serves us. That we acknowledge the fact that they kept us safe. And so they kept creating and recreating the similar scenarios in order to maintain that safety. And Superconscious, I want you to acknowledge through them, or allow them to acknowledge, that it doesn't bring joy or happiness, satisfaction, or success. And Superconscious, can they see that? Superconscious, can they see that all that's happened is it's created distress, disharmony, dis-ease, financial issues, that perhaps has created relationship issues, perhaps it's created work issues, abundance, prosperity issues. Superconscious, can you see all that? Can that part and aspect see all that? Superconscious, are they willing to let go and shift and change and be given a new role to play in protecting, supporting, and keeping me safe? So, Superconscious, can we please do a massive change history as required? As we release and let go that old story and create a new story, one that brings success, health, abundance, prosperity, one that releases this new choice as I become that new choice. Superconscious, can you see that? Can you see how I do have permission? For I am the powerful creator of my life. I choose how I want to live, and I co-create with others to ensure success. That I attract to me the right people, the right opportunities that support me as I shift into this new identity. Superconscious, can you please treat and do a massive change history and everything else is required? Can we please go back to the original events that created the old story? And can we please shift and change? Yeah. Can we see what other choices are available? Yeah. Now to shift into. Can we please place those new choices? Yeah, that's it. Beautiful. Just allowing the grief to be released. And knowing that decisions and choices that we make from old programming. We make from the information that we have at the time, because we don't have all the information. Yeah. And Superconscious, can you see how if I step into full emotional alignment with where I'm going, I automatically attract to me and stay on the right path? That I recognize any old patterns or behaviors, emotions or stories that come up, and I can release them. That's it. That's it. Just going with that. Perfect. All right, anything else for today? Okay, can we please go to that? Can we please treat and do a massive change history? Can we go through all body systems? Yeah, that's it. All right, that's it. Anything else? Okay, can we, yep, that's it. Just go in there. Let's go there. Can we please treat that and do a massive change history? Superconscious, can you see the recurring pattern? Yep. Let's go. Please treat, go back. Is there a family bloodline? Yes, please go. Is it no? But male or female? Please go to whatever side of the family it is. Can we please treat and do a massive change history, going all the way back to the original event? However many generations, lifetimes, on planet, off planet, yep, wherever, multiverses, in between places. Can we please reclaim those disassociated parts and bring them back? Cleanse, clean, purify. That's it. Anything else, Superconscious? Okay, taking some big deep breaths and just bringing that end result, that new choice out of your heart and expanding it around your whole being and allowing it to be in every cell and fiber of you as you become it. That's it. And just feel it. Feel the love, feel the joy, feel the happiness, feel all aspects and parts of yourself as you be it. Feel that little tingle of joy in your heart, knowing you are it, knowing that you've created it. Just bringing all of that together, grounding it into the core of the earth and anchoring it, knowing that you're always supported, loved, and energized, knowing that you'll always be shown the next steps. And what is the next steps? Just allowing that information to come through you. Feels so good. That's it. And sometimes that next step might be something you see, someone says, a book that falls out and talks to you, or an article, a Facebook post, could be anything. Something that you see on the television, could be anything. Something you overhear, and you think, that's it, that's my next step. And just allowing that information to be there, to come there, to be for you. And know you can feel it in your body when it's right. Just feels good. All right, just taking some big deep breaths and coming back when you're ready, opening your eyes, grounding yourself, having a drink of water. Feels so good. And let's go and have the best week possible.